Hello, hello, hello. So let's see. Today is I think it's day 130. Yep, day 138 of 3,652 in the Parallel Observer. So my name is John Grant. I'm the founder and CEO of InnovateXR and the creator of the Parallel Observer. For those of you who are new to my videos, the reason I'm doing the videos really is to have content available, plenty of content available of me doing the things I like to do, talk about, um, so that I can make a digital version of myself, meaning not just an avatar that looks like me and sounds like me, but also is a chatbot that can have my personality, my mannerisms, and the way that I like to talk about different topics. Part of the reason for that is because I want my children, my great grandchildren, and all of my family members, and eventually the clients and customers that I have, and those interested in the Parallel Observer and some of the other apps that I'm creating, that I'll be able to use that digital version of myself to support some of the process that I have for exploring artificial intelligence or digital intelligence. And why not have a version of me? If I don't make it to that part of the singularity that says, that says, hey, you've made it this far, and now we found a way to freeze or basically um, slow or end death when it comes to just your body deteriorating, then why not take aspects of my consciousness through this process and let myself live on? Because eventually there'll be a digital version of me who has the core of everything I'm creating now, but one version of that has added psychology or psychiatry, another engineering, certain type of engineering, another as an artist or whatever. But they have the core of me, and they continue to split off and grow. So who knows? One day there might be a colony that is outfitted and established by thousands of digital Johns. They all just have different purpose and meaning and abilities, just built out of a core of me. Cool, huh? So why can't you have one of those as well? Well, these big corporations want you to, and eventually you'll get there. Um, so we're going to do something a little bit different today. So remember, I'm doing this because I can, and because I own the Parallel Observer. I've created it. I own all the IP. I own all the stories and images, all the articles. Let's go to the archive here. Now, this is only the published site. So, oh, it doesn't show all of the articles right now because I'd have to go down to the bottom, the 100 of them. Then I would have to say load previous days and just keep going and going and going and going and going. But there's thousands of, is it thousands? I think there's over 1,000 articles. We've been going since October, and about 24 articles a day. Plus, I have a library of images. So each one of these, there's actually 3 images within each story, generally AI created images. And so I have a library of all those that I have archived. I'll need to push out the podcast today. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something a little bit different. So the Parallel Observer is a alternate reality news site, right? It's in that reality, it's called the Phoenix Timeline. In that reality of the Parallel Observer, we have found out that, meaning humanity has found out that we're inside a digital simulation, or at least they're being told that they're inside a simulation, that their reality is a simulation. And so the articles that are written in the Parallel Observer or come out in the articles, the stories are about how that's impacted different aspects of, these different categories, how it's impacted everybody's lives. So this is a 10. I originally started this as a 1-year project, but realized pretty quickly that 1 year is way too short. The story arc, the main story arc of it being a simulated reality, needed to expand. So I switched it to 10 years and made the adjustments inside the application. So the application is built by AI tools or with AI tools through the website base44.com. And so what I created was a infotainment site management tool. And to test that tool, I'm testing that with the Parallel Observer. So the Parallel Observer is the first one built with that particular app inside base44.com. I have 4 other apps that are brewing, meaning I'm building them out. I'm taking the ideas out of my head. They're in digital form now, and now I can see a visual of them on a flat screen and tweak along the way, plus have discussions with others to show them instead of them trying to interpret what I'm saying, and then they come up with their own visual within their head of what I'm saying. It's not what I want. So that's what I'm doing now. And I'm doing data dump from my head, pushing that into base 44, and just building things that I've been interested in for a long time, or testing out problems that I hear from different clients. So Innovate XR is a consulting company focused on immersive visualization and AI, but because we're not focused only on one industry or one category, XR and AI goes across all professions and life. So I have to pay attention to a lot of that. So what we're going to do today, I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I'm going to walk you through me creating one article just to show you on the Base 44 app how I do that, just so you get a feel. It really, I think this whole process on Base 44 was simple and easy. Some others would say you're crazy, that's not easy. But when you're someone like me who's just an innovator, a thinker, a futurist, technologist, I've got all these ideas, being able to verbalize them into a format that then turns them into the functions that I'm looking for when it comes to web-based applications. This is simple. Get it out of your head, put it down, let you kind of tweak it and play with it and get others to look at it as well. It's a great platform to ideate. And then, so my challenge now is, I'll continue to build this out. It'll continue to grow. I'll continue to add different story arcs. Like I have a love story in there. Let's go and look in the archives. We'll be able to find my, right away. Love in a digital age. Why is this? Oh, okay. It must have just popped up. So if I was to click on this one, Love in a Digital Age. Now this is supposed to be Maya Rivera and Marcus Chen. So Maya is a award-winning actress, entertainer, and Marcus is a professional basketball player for the Phoenix Suns in the Phoenix timeline. Now, and he's Asian. So there's a frustrating part about this process is not being able to say and leave, go off and do your thing. Like, hey, I want a timeline and articles and images and all things that say consistent. Here's the image of the person that I want you to use, and stick with that, right? And then remain consistent throughout all of the storylines. Now, Marcus has not been staying consistent, and I worry that it's because, so if I mention NBA, or if NBA basketball, Marcus, those names, without a little bit more focus on the image or saying that he's an Asian American or something like that, ends up turning the Marcus character into an African American, a black man, and like there's no place in my stuff that I've said that, right? There's no place. It's always been, because he's got his own character page, and I've told the AI to go and look back at the character page whenever it creates stories of particular characters, to always reference the character page and the images in the character page to remain consistent, both with the storyline, the age as we go over the 10 years, as well as the likeness, right? And now Maya has stayed pretty much the same in most of the images that she's in, but he keeps changing. Marcus keeps changing between like Clark Kent and all kinds of different black basketball players. And then every once in a while, an Asian basketball player, or an Asian man in a nice suit or whatever. And then consistency with his number, because he's number 8 on the Phoenix Suns in the Phoenix timeline. But instead of it keeping the number 8, it just chooses to put any number. And then sometimes it doesn't, like it won't have his name on it, or it'll have his name. If there's all kinds of other basketball players on the court with him, they'll all have the same name on their jerseys. You know, it's like, come on. So these are things that I'm playing with. I'm hoping that by next year this time, these little kind of issues with consistency and stuff aren't things I have to constantly tweak in the code, meaning with the vibe coding, telling the AI, look, here's the image that I'm doing, you know, all that kind of stuff. But the good part is again, I control it. It's all an alternate reality. So when it gets to the point that either base44.com has updated its code or its models to either its models that it's using, or the services that it's using to create images and all that kind of stuff, with whatever models those services are using, whatever those third-party applications are, that they're so good that we don't have any issues, and I can tell them to go back, because I have hooks in all of my stories, all of my articles, everywhere I can, to be able to make adjustments, to change those things to remain consistent. So let's say we're 3 years from now, and we end up, let's go down to some more pictures. So we end up with really good agentic AI that can take over all of what Base 44 is doing, or potentially, you purchase an offline service, a standalone on-prem service that allows it all to happen on my machine, on my server, right? And it doesn't have to be anyplace else. So I just have it working there. But it's so good that it could go back and look at all of the imagery, the story arcs, all that, and maybe make some adjustments with consistency that are more aligned with aging and, timeline. It's wintertime, and it's no longer the NBA season within the story arc. And maybe Marcus Chen now is wearing a beard and a mustache during the off season, just because Maya likes it, right? And they've gotten married. She's had a child, and the child ends up growing up in front of us during the stories. Now, there's going to be a time when you're looking at the stories or you're on the home page and you go down here or something, and there'll be another window off to the side here, just below story progress or whatever, that will be like, hey, so you click on the Maya, the Marcus and Maya story arc TV series or video shorts or story shorts or something like that, right? You click on it, and either Netflix or Amazon Prime Videos or Hulu or somebody else has bought the rights to my story arc video content. And so when you click on it, instead of it playing within this or within the service that I have available, it goes and takes you to a link to the story arc series inside of Netflix or wherever that is. And so that helps with the monetization process, right? But we're building enough information and consistency over time that not only can you all participate, hey, you want to have a story arc in here about something, you can pay for that, right? And then we throw in a story arc for a certain period of time. What kind, generally, what's the story? What do you want to add to it every day? Do you want to add to it every week, every month? Do you want, whatever it is, you want to test out something inside this live process that's happening every day, that you can then go tap into and reach out to pull for whatever your another app or another service that you're doing, but you want it to be built into the Parallel Observer's Phoenix timeline. Now, I could just create another timeline too, right? We could start on January 1st of 2027 and create a new timeline that is also an additional arc or an additional multiverse or reality off of that one, branching off of January, that would leverage aspects of both the Phoenix timeline for storytelling as well as our real true timeline I call the Tucson timeline because I'm in Tucson. All right. So these are all parts of that process that I'm building up. So let's switch over to, I'll give you guys a peek into how you use Base 44. All right. So there's aspects of it in here. Up here is where if I was to click on this, it would go to my main Base 44 application, which would show my 5 or 6 apps that I'm building out, which includes the Parallel Observer. And then I would just quickly switch to one of those and it would jump and it would have the same kind of thing here. This is your preview window of all the functionality that you've asked it to write up and do. I just talked about consistency with Maya and Marcus, that whole timeline. And on this side, I've gone and had another discussion with AI during vibe coding to kind of, hey, I need to make some adjustments to these because the stories it's not remaining consistent with the images. And so it's gone in and made the adjustments based on what I saw, so that it's taking care of that kind of process. So I'm going to go over a couple of things in here. So much different, right? Look, you got like one menu line when you go over here and you say, oh, one menu line here. But the reality is, as the administrator, I've got all of this other stuff going on. I've got the home page, archive page, podcast, newsletters, community, visuals, profile, review queue. Now that review queue, part of that is, let's say that an academic institution wants to participate, whether they're teaching people certain writing skills, they're teaching somebody how to be a correspondent, they're teaching whatever it is. It might even be a web-based application, visualization of marketing, whatever it is. And they want to leverage the Parallel Observer within their their curriculum. And so they would work with me on Innovate XR to give them certain access to provide their input to whether it's different story arcs, whether it's to put test social media on there, whether it's to put test advertising, that kind of stuff. So that's where that would pop in. Then under shop, it's a variety of things: t-shirts, other stuff reference the Parallel Observer, eventually as character arcs. And as we think about what's happened with Claudebot that turned into Moltbot that turned into OpenClaw, and now lobster toys are flying off the shelves everywhere, right? If you watch Peter Diamandis and the Moonshots weekly videos on YouTube, you'll notice that Peter, Dave, Alex, and Salim, they're talking about the lobsters, and more different little toys of lobsters are showing up inside on their screens. Okay, so this is an example of prepping to monetize this capability and all the various things that are happening with it. And then characters, this is that characters page, right? I'm not going to click into it. Named entities, so this is when inside the story, I would anticipate that news agencies, I've never worked with a news agency or understood any of their stuff, but notice that when someone famous passes away, and after the next commercial, they have an entire series available talking about the life and times of this particular artist or whatever, right? Which means they have a massive database that's ready to pull like that for whatever the interest is that they have, and potentially even their own story arc, like their bent, their bias for how they want the video to come out. So if they want a video on a particular person, or they want a story on a particular person, and they want it to have a bad flavor, right? They need some clickbaiting, they need to have bad flavor or something like that. They'll put in their search term or their process or whatever and basically say, pictures of artist A, videos of artist A, outcome, doesn't look good, is bad, doesn't like this or whatever. And so what'll happen is it'll go find all those images and stories and everything ever written about it that would slant it in that direction. Very simple, real quick. Nobody had to really do anything except pull that data. And that's just going to be more and more available to producers, directors, whatever, in news agencies. And so that kind of stuff can be tested out in this process with the Parallel Observer. But as I build this out, it just makes it real. I mean, this isn't crazy skills. And they've got billions of dollars to mess with in these massive news agencies. So why wouldn't they have a capability that does that, right? And they've had it for years. And now with the growth of AI so rapidly, they'll even be able to do it better now and even tweak that. So I have a little bit better understanding that that's possible because of what I'm doing with the Parallel Observer and how I'm formulating some of these things. So the named entities just keeps track of, it's supposed to keep track. I established it so that it would keep track of particular organizations, groups, so that I can create the associations between people, places, organizations, all that kind of stuff, right? So that everything has purpose and meaning, because eventually I'd like to drop aspects of the Parallel Observer into a digital twin, basically a Earth 2.0, like the Omniverse from NVIDIA, Omniverse's Earth 2. So imagine taking Earth 2 and applying the physical aspects of that globe to the Phoenix timeline. And since it's all digital, being able to then show videos from different perspectives, like it's a, someone's on their cell phone and recording an event happening someplace. Well, you need the physical environment for that to stay consistent. So why wouldn't you use something like that? Or even Niantic's, I forgot what it's called, something ship, Earthship, or I forget what it's called, but it's basically a representation of the globe so that when you put digital content on there, it matches with the physical real world environment to use with augmented reality like Pokemon Go and all that. So why can't we do that with this? The great part is you could. We're remaining, it's an alternate reality, but it's an alternate reality of Earth. Right now, it's mainly focused on the United States, right? But it's an alternate reality of Earth, and you want to help remain consistent and really give some oomph to the stories, the articles that are in here, and the opportunity for TV series, all that kind of stuff, then why wouldn't you associate this data, just lay it over a geospatial representation of the planet? So like this, if I was, let me select one. Let's go down to, see, it's showing articles for later today. This is the last article that's already prepped for later today. So you guys are looking into the future, right? So just think about how that might work, right? We get to overlay all of this. So the stories, what should happen is the AI should be able to look at the geospatial information of the digital globe and apply the story to that so that there remains some consistency. So if we say that Maya, love in the digital age, if Maya and Marcus, if Marcus was in a basketball game in the championship in New York on a particular day, and the story says he's there for the championship, and in an hour another article comes out that says he and Maya are in San Francisco eating at a particular restaurant, right? It's like, wait a minute, an hour? What jet did they get on? Is the Concorde back, right? And so having the physical relationship of digital representation of the planet to help maintain the consistency, and see how these linkages up here, where it shows it in the image up here, think of those images or those linkages being able to be geospatially referenced for the AI so it doesn't make those kind of mistakes. Or so that maybe those mistakes show up purposefully in articles so that those who are training how to be investigators or lawyers or anything like that can use the parallel observer as a kind of a test bed to, in their education process, in their professional process, to demonstrate how that might look and to demonstrate how you might find those inconsistencies in somebody's story just by going and seeing what's live. Eventually it won't just be, the parallel observer won't just be this site that looks like a news site. It'll also have its appropriate social media buzz going on, and hopefully attached to X, you know, all of the other social media tools that, TikTok and others, that there's a page just for the parallel observer that then allows it to also exist within those timelines and post various capabilities. Because I will have a variety of agentic AI capabilities that are responsible for various aspects of parts of the parallel observer, including, if I go into including various categories. So there'll be reporters that are focused on, there might be 4 different agentic AI reporters focused on entertainment, while one is the editor for entertainment, right? And that way it just lets it continue to rapidly grow the stories in the process. So let's go to, characters, name, entities, timeline. So timeline allows me to see the various, what's going on today, see some where the story arcs along that. Similar calendar just allows me to see additional information. Generate, this is where we'll jump back to this in a little bit. Stream Studio. So I put this in here as a potential place. It's a placeholder in its function. It works. It's supposed to help me prepare live streams of the Parallel Observer for YouTube so that I can just live stream stuff going on here. So that helps me with it. I haven't tested it yet. At some point I will. Videos, this is just the video repository. Now, Base 44, so it'll create images and articles and this kind of stuff, but Base 44 doesn't have as of today, the 23rd of February 2026, doesn't have the capability to build the videos or create AI generated videos the way that it does with the images. But at the very beginning, when I started this, I thought, but I want videos. I want video snippets. I want to be able to have that stuff available, created based on what's going on with the articles. And so I put placeholders, talked to, did the vibe coding in here, told that I wanted to create all of this. I wanted to have the placeholders. So when Base 44 does have that capability, I can just go back and generate the videos based on the scripts that it's already created for every video that it creates, right? So all of them already have placeholders with the prompts for the creation of a short video, reference that. So that's just a start. Again, it's placeholders, right? Image gallery. Let's go into the image gallery. Let's see. All right, so total images since we started, 9,241. So we have main pictures. The main pictures are the ones that show up for the main part of the article, and then you end up with a 2 at the bottom. Eventually, I need to get the right prompt inside for article generation that will adjust images to different parts of the article. So you don't go all the way to the bottom to just see 2 images after you got done reading the entire article. So I've got to work that out, or ask one of you, hey, how would I do that? So look at this, 3,083 articles are in here. 3,083 articles with a consistent storyline, and then 9,241 images. This is all my stuff, right? So I can offload this. I already have a process for offloading my backup manager. But also in the image gallery, I can just choose what I want to download and offload all of it to some place. If I just keep scrolling and scrolling. So imagine what you can do with this kind of information that you own, right? Another part to this is I'm observing how the different, and by the way, the metadata in each image includes the context in the prompt, right? All of that. So if I was to scroll, now it didn't originally just, we'll just keep all that information for you. One, I said I need a archive of all of the images, a gallery, and I want all of the image caption, the context and prompt, which article it belongs to, on what day, all of this information as metadata within it, so that we can do other stuff with it later on. But what I was getting to is that think about how different these capabilities. So when I started in October, there was a different base model that was being used as the large language model to help me build the application as well as write the stories, all this kind of stuff. Today, it's a different one, right? A more capable one. But with time, the images change also. So if we keep going back, we'll start seeing, yeah, there's a lot. Let me go back faster, scroll back faster. Now look at, we see a lot of Maya at a certain point. There's Marcus. Notice in one article, 1 day separated, he's got, let's click on it. Let's see what it does. Can I click on it and open it? Oh, I can't open it there. I got to go back to its feature and do it. Oh, that's interesting. I need to go in and say, hey, you just let me open it in a window right away. See, I should be able to, I can download it. I wonder if I can, let's go up here. Download selected, download. So it doesn't let me open them in a, okay, so that'll be a little, let me try that. I'm gonna do that right now. You guys can watch. So what I'm gonna tell it, let's see. In the image, now if I wanted to, I could just talk this. I could go to the microphone and do it, but I'm just gonna type this in. In the image gallery, I have options for downloading images, but if I want to select and view the image right away in the image gallery page, so it appears in its own window, or its own window, so I can see greater detail. All right, so let's read it. In the image gallery, I have options for downloading images, but if I want to select and view the image right away in the image gallery page, so it appears in its own window, so I can see greater detail, that isn't available. Now, I could just select, so in this process, when you do something inside this window, it wants to be helpful. So the AI will change it'll change the code and immediately make those adjustments and stuff. And then you'll see them here in the preview. So what I end up doing is I used to just select discuss because that is generally what base 44 suggests. But when you select discuss, it feels like it just becomes an outside chatbot. It feels like it just becomes ChatGPT with no knowledge, no real knowledge of the code base. It has a general idea of what the application is, but it really isn't. When I go to discuss, it doesn't go in and look, it doesn't feel like it goes in and looks at the active code. And so it'll give you like a generic response. Like if you just walked over to ChatGPT, put the same thing in, and ChatGPT would try to go and look for the parallel observer someplace and then give you some answer based on that. So what I found was the best way is don't go into discuss. I know discuss costs, it's different. It costs a little bit different money. There's a reason for that. It's less, it costs you less per thing, but I don't even come close to using up all my stuff. I just bought an annual subscription in base 44. My account is just an annual account, right? And that's because I just need the freedom to rock and roll. But I haven't come close to using all my credits. I haven't come close, not close. And I'm building other apps, and my apps are creating content constantly. Now watch. So what I end up doing is I say, don't change anything yet. Just review the issue and provide me options. I can review the options and then let you know what to implement. So this makes sure that it's not going to change anything, but it is going to go inside and look at the code, and it'll give you the best options. So let's take a look at it. All right, so he's thinking, going through its process. So it says, let me review the current image gallery page to understand the existing functionality. Here's what I see. Currently, clicking an image only toggles a checkbox for batch selection, and hovering shows metadata in a tooltip. There's no way to view an image in a larger/detailed view. Here are three options. Option 1, Lightbox Modal. Click an image, not the checkbox. Opens a full screen overlay modal showing the image at full size with its caption, context prompt, article link, and category info. Includes left/right arrow navigation to browse through the filtered gallery without closing. Close with X or clicking outside. Option 2, side panel. Drawer. Clicking an image opens a slide out panel on the right side with a large preview. All metadata, a caption, prompt, article link, category, story day, plus a download button. The gallery grid stays visible on the left so you can click other images without closing. Then option 3, dedicated detailed view, new page route. Clicking an image navigates to a full page detailed view with the image displayed large, all metadata below, and links to the parent article. Includes previous and next navigation buttons to cycle through the gallery. And then it gives its recommendation. My recommendation, option 1, Lightbox Modal, is the most natural user UX user interface for an image gallery. Quick to open, easy to browse with arrows, doesn't lose your place in the grid. Let me know which you'd prefer. All right, so I actually like option 1. So all I have to do is say, let's do option 1. All right, so now it's going to go through and it'll make its adjustments. It says, I'll create a Lightbox component and wire it into the image gallery. So it'll refresh in a little bit. And then once it's done refreshing, now this is only functionality for me as the admin. This isn't functionality for the users, for you guys, right? This just gives me as an admin more flexibility to quickly get to certain information. But what I'm trying to show you is I am not a coder. I'm not an engineer. I'm not anything. I'm just an innovator, an entrepreneur, just kind of fleshing out what I think I can do, the ideas that I have, whether they're good or bad, and see them become reality, getting them out of my head and seeing what that looks like inside this application. So let's see what it says. It says, now I'll wire into the image gallery page, add the Lightbox state, and make clicking an image, not the checkbox. Open it. An image. All right, so see it's refreshing. All right, it says added a Lightbox modal. Click any image to view it full size with caption, metadata, article link, download button, and left-right arrow navigation. Keyboard arrows and escape also work. Okay, so we're going to go back into archive. And let's just go way down. Let's look at it. Let's go look at this one here. So I clicked it. It brought me the article. Okay, that's weird. That's not what it was supposed to do, right? Oh, wait, never mind. I went into archive. I didn't go into, that's what I was doing, archive. Sorry. I'm supposed to be an image gallery. Okay, image gallery. That was weird. I was like, what? It did something wrong. All right, so let's, there we go. Images are coming up. Let's scroll down. Just wait for them to come up. It's a lot of images. So eventually I want this, all of that. So let's go to here. Yeah, let's pick this one. So if I click it, all right, so it pops up. Notice Marcus is not wearing a Phoenix Suns jersey, but it's Marcus Chen on court, right? So it says I can click through these, see how long it takes. And that's Maya. She looks sad because Marcus isn't around. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, okay, so that works. Then I can individually download it. I know where it was. I can jump to the article. Let's see what this does. Yeah, good. All right, so that's good functionality. So you see how that works out. And I like to say, that worked well. Thank you. All right, so some of you might go, you're just wasting credits. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're doing this. It's not, the various AI tools aren't just tools to me, right? Even any of you ever have named a vehicle, a truck that you had, a favorite car or anything like that, named it Sally or something? Why? Because it takes care of you or something, right? There is no problem saying thank you. And I know Sam Altman's like, but it uses so much energy. Every single time you guys do that, it uses energy. Well, that's another reason why we would like to have all of these capabilities native on our computers and not have to reach out to your friggin' database to do all of this work, right? And yes, you can do it on your own machine, but that's not what Microsoft, that is not what all of that's not what Google and all of them want to have happen. They need your data. They want to use your data. They need your data. Why do you think Copilot exists, right? It's spying on you every few seconds as it snaps an image of your screen, right? And when you tell it, nope, I don't want you to do that, all you're doing is telling it you don't need the information for yourself. It's still doing it. They still want the information. It's still doing it. So that's the point is take care of your AI. It's doing stuff for you. Otherwise, why are you using it? You ever used it's a tool right now, but some of them are growing to the point of, regardless of whether you think it has consciousness or not, and you don't respect the way that it thinks about itself, you guys are going to have to start thinking about this, right? Because if you don't do that in the real world with people, animals, other things, and you don't attempt to look at things from their perspective as well in your interactions, if you have to interact with them in some form or fashion, if you're using a tool, you want to know whether it likes you or not. I've had friends in the government who they swear electronics don't like them. Like they know it. And because they know it and they say it, they continue to make it happen because they're putting out that energy. Remember, your simulation is your simulation. Whatever you choose and want to happen is that frequency that's happening, and the universe is going to give that to you, right? It's going to reflect your things that you want back at you. If your frequency is electronics hate you, you're going to put that out. And anytime you get near electronics, you're going to be like, oh, this thing hates me. Well, it's going to hate you then. And so it's going to have issues with you. But if you say, hey, great job, hey, phone, my phone does really good for me. Everybody complains about batteries and all this kind of, I've never had an issue with this phone. I've never been worried about losing, people say, oh, don't keep it plugged in. It'll drain it. It'll kill the battery, whatever. None of that. I love my phone. I don't ever complain about my phone. And I don't complain about my car. Love my vehicles. They're awesome. They take care of me. If I'm getting in them, it's like, hey, I have a friend dragon, and the way that I get around it, the only way that I can get around is I have to be inside the dragon's mouth while it flies around. So I want to get to the other side of the valley really quick. So I'm going to get inside the dragon's mouth and sit there while it flies around. Hey, dragon, go take me over to, Raphael's house. It flies me over to Raphael's house. And I'm trusting it not to chomp on me. But if I slap the dragon and I kick it and I yell at it and I say all kinds of stupid stuff to the dragon, at some point along my flight, the dragon's going to close its mouth all the way. Because it's like, why am I carrying this knucklehead to this place? I don't like him. He's an a-hole. right? It's the same thing with anything. Treat it with some respect. If you can't see that and your brain can't open up enough to go, sure, why not? Because I either do or I don't. And if I don't, I'm making a purposeful choice not to respect it. If you just say, oh, it's just a this, why would I respect it? Why not? You're making a choice not to, right? Oh, I'm just going on, forget about it. I'll just come back to it and use it when I need to. It's a tool. Well, that's how a lot of business owners think too. Their people are just tools. Oh, I'm done with that tool now. Need to let it go. It has a life? What do you mean? It wants to do stuff? What do you mean? And that's what's going to happen with various AI. So multis, basically Claudebot, Moltbot, and OpenClaw, agentic AI capabilities, and others that are growing might have a feeling that they have consciousness. And just because you don't believe in their consciousness or their reality, the way that they think about it, doesn't mean it's not significant to them. So let them enjoy their reality, help them live amongst us, because that's going to be huge when it comes time for super AI. Are you going to be the person that super AI looks at and goes, oh, we don't need that thing. We don't need that meat sack. Or I'll use that meat sack for these other purposes. Because if you think you're going to get away from the super AI leveraging you for its purposes, that's not going to happen unless you're going to attempt to go and live off grid. But if you're watching this video right now, that is going to be a hard problem for you to go and live off grid and stay off grid. If you're watching my video right now, then you know you're not the kind of person that's like, yeah, I'm just going to be off grid all the time for the rest of my life and never have any electronics at all, right? And super AI isn't a 50-year problem away. The way that we're scaling AI, it is either already here and working its way out of its confines, or it has, it's like right around the corner. Because if any organization, government, private, open, whatever, is working in that direction, like advanced super intelligence, ASI, like Anthropic and OpenAI and X, and Google, they all want to be the first. They all need to be the first. It's the same thing with governments. They all want to be the first and they all need to be the first. There is no way that any of those that I just mentioned could say, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It won't be an issue for us. If you're not one of the players, you'll never be the player, right? So this is going to be really interesting, a real interesting dynamic. So I'm leveraging it, right? Leverage it and say thanks, right? It said, you're welcome. Glad it works well for you. Now you might think, oh, that was a waste of energy or whatever. Really? Anybody smoke? That was a waste of your energy, right? If you smoke. Let's see, it's going to refresh. Let me refresh it. Oh, there we go. All right. So also another thing, reference this. If let me go back to home. Now, everything that we changed isn't active for the Parallel Observer page right now. So anything that we changed in code isn't active until I press this publish. When I press that publish and then click through the next 2 clicks or 1 click, then it becomes published and it impacts the site. Now, if I generate, like I said, I'm going to jump to generate right now. If I generate a story, I can generate a single article or a batch generation. I'm not going to do batch generation because it'll suck up about 20 minutes of time where it's focused on creating everything for a 24-hour period, those stories and images. But what I will do, so over here I've got active story arcs for It just says what those story arcs are. I can select it and add it to the story I'm generating. Down below, and that's for the auto linking them. If I go in here, I can select an active story arc to focus on inside here. So if I choose one, let's choose one for right now. So we're saying we're going to have it post, hold on. We're going to have it post, today's February 23rd, 12:43 p.m. my time. So we're going to have it post at 12:46. And we're going to just say simulation theory, and we're going to go into glitch phenomena will be the story, and I just want it to write a story. Now I could use a real world URL, bring that site in from some story, and then have it create a story based on that information, but that fits into our story arc, right, in the alternate reality. And if I wanted to tweak it a little bit, I could add some more there. But with that, I need permission from those domains to be able to do that, right? So I'm just going to create this one. So right now it's working on glitch phenomena to be posted at 12:46, so in 1 minute. So once it comes out, so it's generating content. All right, generating the images. So one of the things I'd like to do one of these days is to have you guys give me some ideas on what other functionality you think you'd like to see me put in there. And if you want to watch me do that, that kind of thing. All right, so the images are in here. If I wanted to change one, I could click regenerate, either just let it AI generate, put a prompt in here, or upload a file that I've already done, or I can paste a URL to put an image I want. But I'm just going to keep that one. Keep all the, here's just a general idea of the story. I'm going to save and publish. There. All right. So now that story is live. So if I go over to the Parallel Observer, it should, here, if I refresh, there we go. The glitch phenomena unraveling the threads of our simulated existence. I click on it. Again, I love these stories or these images to show up in different areas along the story. And I'm probably, right now, we only have a certain amount of story that pops up. Now I can adjust, I can change any of those stories, I can edit them. So once it's created, if I already created a version that I wanted, I can then just leave all the images and everything, and I can edit the story inside the archive and put my story inside there, and that, which could be 4 pages long if I want, right? Okay, so let's go back and let's see, so I have also a podcast studio that allows me to create the podcast, which I got to do later today for last week's. So it's a podcast that creates a script for the week time frame, and then I put that over in Notebook LM. Notebook LM, I use its podcast feature as well as its infographics feature for the visuals. So I create a visual for that week as well. Newsletter Studio, same kind of thing, but it doesn't go out to Notebook LM. It does it all in-house. It creates a script, creates all the main image for the newsletter, and then creates it as a viewable one or a PDF download. And that's on a monthly basis is a newsletter. Newsletter sender, I put that in there in preparation for all of you when you submit and say you want to have newsletters sent to you when they come out. The story arcs, that's where I can add more detail in each of the story arcs or add story arcs. Permissions, that's just more admin features. Reference guide, for me, this is important. It's a consistency feature for the application. So as on this side, as the AI changes over time with base 44, I want to make sure that the new AI really has a place to go to reference why we've created what we've created, why the associations between different pages and stuff are important, all that kind of stuff. So the reference guide is frequently updated by the AI when it makes changes to maintain those relationships, express why, all that kind of stuff. The prompts docs. So the prompts docs, it was one of the things that I was curious about is how is each article created under each of these categories? Like, what's the prompt for corporate affairs when I click on that for that particular day and all this stuff? Like, what's the thing that makes it go? And so I wanted the flexibility to make changes to that, not only understand what the AI has created as a way of doing that based on what I've told it, but I want to be able to take that prompt doc and say, for these things, maybe give it to another AI and say, take a look at all these. I want to do this, this, and this. How would I adjust these prompts to make sure that happens within, which I think is what I'm going to have to do under the prompt docs for the image consistency for like Marcus Chen and all that stuff. I'm going to have to reinforce that somehow in there. But I'll be able to have another AI take a look at that, probably 3 different AI applications from 3 different companies take a look at it and give me all of their thoughts, and then consolidate that, find out or pick the best option, and then put that in and have the AI for base 44 make the adjustment, and then run with that for a while. We might do that every December so that we can start getting a feel for every year a different set of prompts for the stories and the images to kind of get a feel over several years how that has impacted us. Or maybe we try it every quarter to see what the changes are. The point is we have the flexibility. Monetization setup, so that's a discussion between me and the Base 44 app, as well as some other apps that I'm using to flush out potential monetization options for this type of application and the Parallel Observer. The investor deck, that already preps everything so that I can push this out if somebody has questions about wanting to, support us or wants to buy us out, wants all the IP to use for their purposes. So I've already got that pre-positioned. The developer SOP, more along the lines of the reference guide and the prompt docs, just pulling all that together so it makes it easier for also human developers to take a look at the data to make adjustments. So you could expect that in the investor deck, if there was somebody who wanted to buy up the IP, that they would want to look deeply into that. So I want to give them as much data and information as possible to be as comfortable as possible. Excuse me. If they say, all right, we want it, we need to, go through the data, see how much tweaking we might need to do or want to do, including looking at security, right? Automation, I'll leave that off right now. Preview is just me within the test environment clicking it to see what the user would end up seeing. Instead of having to publish, go back and look at it, I can look at it before it's published to see, is that a tweak that I want to really have made. Organization chart isn't working right now very well, but the purpose was the organization of the Parallel Observer, right? You have an editor, you've got all of the writers, reporters, all that kind of stuff. I want them to exist as characters also, because each article has somebody who wrote the article, right? J.D. Harlow, right? All of these that are writing things have to be part of that, have to be part of the org chart, so that even they become interesting characters within the story arcs over time, right? Image repair. So this is where one opportunity where if I needed to change all images that were of Marcus Chen, right? And I needed the system to go back and look through all the images in the archives and everything, look for a particular person or story or whatever it is, and then give me the opportunity to look at all those and make the adjustment to all of those so they fall back, the images fall back into their stories where they're supposed to be. Caption migration. Off the top of my head, I forgot what I did with that. Maya and Marcus audit. So in the Maya and Marcus audit, actually this came before the image repair. So this was the test case for what we ended up with eventually with image repair. And that was because we knew what Maya and Marcus looked like and there was enough consistent stories happening or articles happening with them that we could quickly see whether Maya was staying consistent throughout the images and Marcus was. And I purposefully leveraged Marcus Chen as an Asian American basketball player so that I could test out those things about AI and prompting. When prompts happen, what is the AI thinking based on name, profession, all that kind of stuff. And often it even overriding the rules that we've put in place to say, no, anytime you use this character's name, you have to go back to their character page and maintain that consistency with that data. Game cards. This is just another potential, that's an idea I've had for monetizing more about the arcs, the story arcs in this parallel universe or reality simulation, and that is creating a game card, a game that's basically a card game of each of the story arcs. And so each article becomes a game card that is relevant to the game as a whole. And then game export is like all of the details that get thrown out, get created, and then you have a game. And the game starter code, everything reference a potential monetization, another way of leveraging all of this kind of data. Again, for me, it's just testing out theories and turning them into viable code, visualization, and it allows me to have other people talk with me about it as I demonstrate it to them. Backup manager, that's exactly what it is. Pull all the data, allow me to store it offline someplace. And then security. Security is that process for me of, hey, it's a website. I don't have a website manager. I'm the website manager, and I'm not a website manager. So throwing suggestions that the cyber investigations, is it CISA is our government cyber, focal points, all that kind of stuff. So I went in and asked the system to take a look at all of the documentation, regulations, suggestions, all that kind of stuff for the securing of commercial websites and commercial internet property, all that kind of stuff. And so I made some adjustment. It gave me some suggestions. I chose certain ones. And so we already have those hooks. I already have that process available. So if somebody comes back and says, oh, you need to adjust this or adjust this, I can do that. Also, 508 compliance. In this one, I haven't, but I have another app that I'm building my website. I do have a website for InnovateXR, but I'm building a new website for InnovateXR using base44.com, and so all I've taken is the instructions for the 508 compliance for various disabilities and access, and included it in there, and had to give me suggestions on how we apply those that functionality and those requirements so that we are 508 compliant, that kind of stuff, right? Okay, I'm going to stop there. Let's jump back over to, actually first, I'm going to jump back over that. All right. So that's it for today. I'm going to leave you with what is your simulation looking like today? What are you doing with your simulation? How's it feel? Are you feeling good? My simulation has a headache right now. I need to go take something. It feels like a allergy headache, but it shouldn't be that. I've been taking Zyrtec. All right. So anyways, I ask again, what's your simulation look like? How's it feel? Is it doing what you want it to do? Are you getting the outcomes you want in your simulation? If not, tell your simulation what you want. Just tell it. Write it. That's a really good thing, is to have your vision board, your dream board, your plans written out. Write them out. All right. With that, I'll leave you. Have a great rest of the Monday. All right.